You need a pool.
I do need a pool. If the pool permit would ever get approved by the city, I'd have at least a hole in the backyard. But soon, 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 soon. Anybody have plans? No?
Hanging out by the pool. My
That's
pool.
nice. Your pool, right?
Sorry, yours is not getting dug yet.
It's all right. Hopefully it'll be done by my birthday in January, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Fortunately for us in Southern California, it's still like 80 degrees in January, right? I'm sure it's hot in the valley. Let me just make sure my phone is on silent and we'll get started. So this was my first class that I taught, that I created, and it was back in my Hollywood Hills days. And it was called Building Your Business Through Your Own Sphere. And that's really how I feel that I got my success early on in real estate. For some reason, I just felt like my business was going to come from my sphere. I felt like, you know, you can get business from many different ways, but that your sphere was probably the easiest way to get started. So I do have a PowerPoint. It was created, I guess, 5 years ago, probably. It's been updated slightly, but if anybody has any questions, I love engagement and interaction. I appreciate all of you that have your cameras showing. So at least I can see the smiles and the laughs or the thumbs up or thumbs down, or the look of confusion. And, and we'll go from there. So let me start with the slides. And actually, let me shut off my Outlook, because otherwise we're going to have that little dinging going off every 5 seconds. All right, so share screen, building your business through your own sphere. And let's see. What do you want to learn today? So the first slide is how many of you are new agents? And since I know all of you guys, this class was, like I said, originally with Hollywood Hills, so I didn't necessarily know everybody, but I know all of you. And where are you getting your contacts from? Is there anything that, let me stop the screen share. Is there anything that from the title of this class that you guys expect from this class or wanting to get from this class? Anything at all that you want to throw out there to begin with? And I'll write it down here on my notes, if there's anyone. No, we're just here to listen today. Listen and replicate.
Dan, this is Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
Hi, thank you for having this class. I'm excited. So as you know, I've obviously been in the business for a couple of years now, approaching 4. So my question or my takeaway from this would be, it'd be great to find a way, if I have not given love to some contacts within my sphere, what would be the best first way to do that? I'm not new, but what's a good way to just do that outreach for some in my sphere who have found love?
Oh, sorry. Of course. Hold on. I can't, sorry. Yes, sorry. I heard your question, so great.
Okay,
and
awesome.
We're gonna cover that, so perfect. Perfect question, We're gonna cover it. Anyone else? No? All right, cool.
I have a question.
Sure, Julian.
Basically, I want to know, like I told you before, my friend, I've known him since kindergarten. He told me like, oh yeah, I'm interested in buying a house next year. So I would like to know, like, when is it when how can you tell if someone's really genuinely interested, or if they're just kind of like, oh, I'll do it, next in a few months or something, like when they're kind of brushing you off. So to kind of really gauge, like, when you're, I guess, trying too hard, or
sure.
I don't know, when should you kind of back off and realize that it's probably not going to happen, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, totally. And especially if you're new and you haven't been really marketing to people. So as you start kind of building your business and the way that you engage with people, the way you market to them, or the way you connect with them, interact with them, you kind of start to see, you're building a pipeline, right?
Right.
So especially whether if you're gonna like do monthly email blasts, if you're gonna make calls, if you're sending a postcard like me, I just started sending postcards to my sphere, which I've never done before. And you kind of start seeing their response to what you send to them. You kind of see who the serious people are. So at the beginning, especially when you're new and you're kind of just telling everybody, hey, I got my real estate license. I've joined this mega office, the #1 office in the Valley, the #2 office in all of Los Angeles County. People start, saying, oh yeah, I want to buy, and I've been thinking about this, and oh, you're going to be my agent, and I'm going to be your first client, and whatever. You get that a lot.
Right.
But people aren't necessarily ready to buy right then. And that's okay. You want to just kind of put them in your system, in your network, and you'll kind of see by their engagement. So if someone says, yes, I've been wanting to buy. Okay, great. Have you talked to a lender yet? Are you pre-approved? Are you going to pay cash? How do you plan on paying for the property? Have you already started looking? Obviously, are you working with someone else? So questions like that, they're going to give you an answer. And so they say, okay, well, if they haven't even qualified yet, they haven't met with a lender. Well, great. I work with several lenders. I can give you some referrals. I don't have to, I always, especially the financial part of it, when it came to my friends and stuff, I didn't want to I wanted to delicately dance around that without them getting scared off that I'm inquiring about their finances. So I would just kind of front with, let me connect you with one of my lenders. They don't share any of your financial information with me, so it's unless you want them to. All they do is they talk with you over the phone. They get their information that they need to see what you qualify for, and then they basically tell me, hey, you qualify for this type of loan at this loan amount, and so then we can go out shopping and we know what we're looking for. So if someone doesn't want to do that, then move on. Add them to your database. Mail them an email blast every month. Follow them up with social media. But if they're not going to be serious and get into the process, then you have to move on.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, cool. There's a couple things.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
So I have my first potential client phone call today. She actually saw one of your listings that I put out there. And so no one has ever, usually people say like, wow, cool, or like that looks great, but she actually asked how many bedrooms. So I was like, oh, okay. So I'm going to be having a phone conversation with her later today. And so you kind of answered a lot of the questions that I was going to ask as far as how do I speak with her without scaring her off, because she actually was looking forward to having the phone conversation as opposed to, oh, can you just send me that listing or something? So I think you kind of answered most of those. Are there any other questions I should ask her?
Just if you're working with someone, you kind of want to do the who, what, why, when, and where, or whatever, right? So what are they looking for? What are they qualified for? What are their needs? You kind of get those general questions. And you know what to look for. If you do a search on the MLS, and anything that you're putting in the search category to hone in on your search, those are the answers that you need. You need to know the purchase price, you need to know the location, you need to know bedrooms, bathroom size. Do they need a pool in this hot valley heat weather? Are they looking for a modern house? Are they more Spanish? You go through all of those type of questions,
Right. So this one, I asked her, are you looking to move? And she actually said she's looking to invest.
Sure.
So it's a lot of the financial aspects I'm not entirely comfortable with yet, of course. So.
Yeah. So again, it would be, is this all cash? What's her budget? Is she working with a lender? Are you looking for, so is it, what are they looking for? Is looking for a single family residence, a condo, a triplex, a duplex? So what is the investment? If they're an investor, most of the time they're not like a new, hey, I'm just going to start investing in real estate, but those do come along too. So if that's a new person wanting to getting into investing, well, that's great because you're going to learn it together. you know. Cool. Paul, I find that people in my sphere also know many other realtors. How do you continue to set yourself apart? That's a great question. When I got licensed, before I even picked Keller Williams or what company I was going to join, I had probably 15 friends that were realtors, 15. And I reached out to all of them, even just in my process of deciding which brokerage I wanted to join. So you kind of look at, what do you do? What are you doing that's different? What sets you apart? What's your value proposition? So maybe that's something that you think about in how you market yourself. We're going to talk a little bit about social media in this class. And I think, so one thing is, I picked up a client that was a friend of mine that had used a realtor over and over and over again. But he reached out to me and he said something along the lines of, I see what you do, like I'm serious. Because, there's a lot of us, right? I don't know how many realtors there are in California or the world, but, it's a very easy license in general to get. And so the key is usually, is your work ethic, following up, really with clients. And if you show people what you do, you show that you're responsible, you show that you follow through, you show that you're a hard worker, your sphere, your friends are going to see, they see that you're a professional, that you're responsible, that other people like working with you, that you're getting the deal done. So celebrate your closings. You do leases, you do high end, you do, middle, low ends, you do the Valley, you do West Side, you do Palm Springs, wherever your business is, wherever you're comfortable doing business, you're showing them that you do that. And that really kind of resonates with people. So I think that's a great way to do that. I hope that answers your question. Great idea to send postcards to my sphere. I've only sent postcards to my farm. Yeah, so with that, Joanne, during COVID, I started to look at, Harma talks about farming all the time. He does Seeds of Success. It's incredible. I'm actually in the process of creating a Seeds of Success type class. That's a multiple part series that people will sign up for, just based on sphere, working with your sphere. So it's like Seeds of Success, growing your sphere, working with your sphere. I'm figuring out all the logistics of it. But what I did during COVID is, to be successful in farming, you really need to have like 3 touches in your farm. You're mailing a postcard. You might be either door knocking or cold calling. Harma says you're not good at doing both of them. You're good at doing one or the other. Maybe you're having someone drop off a flyer at the door. Maybe you're doing open houses and you've got your signs everywhere in the neighborhood. But every week you're doing an open house, so that neighborhood, that farm, sees your sign and your branding and your name and know that you're a neighborhood expert. Maybe you're sending them an email blast, so that's like 5 things. But you should do at least 3 things. So even working with your sphere, figure out what those 3 things are. So sending an email blast, that's 1 touch a month. Maybe it's social media and engagement, that's 2nd touch. Calling them, obviously, is the 3rd touch. If you want to call your whole sphere every month and check in on them, even if they're an I care message, like kind of text, and you're not really like selling real estate in that call. So for me, being an office manager, it's like, how do I touch my sphere every month? So it just seemed like a no-brainer to mail them a postcard. So that's 1 touch. If they get an email blast from me automatically on the 1st of the month that my assistant does, and they get a postcard once a month that Zach creates and I just pay for and it goes, there's 2 touches in my sphere automatically without me even doing any work. So, kind of cool. And then, so can I use one of your listings and advertise it? Yes. Any of my listing, anybody on my team, Dan Stueve Properties, you're welcome to use to market. You can give me credit, that would be nice, but you don't have to, for me personally. Anything that Harma's team does, you're welcome to use as well. He does ask that you give credit. Most agents do. And if it's anybody in the office, really the polite thing to do is to reach out to them. They're I'm sure, okay with it, but send them a text or an email. Congrats on your listing. Do you mind if I share that on my social media and I'll tag you or whatever? And I'm sure that's totally appropriate. But anything that's my listings, you're free to use and use the photos and whatever. I don't have any problem with it at all. Cool. All right, so let's get back to the slides here. Any questions that we had shared? Can I share this? And am I sharing that? I haven't shared it yet. Sorry, guys. I was just laughing with our staff this morning during our staff call because I'm still learning how to use Zoom appropriately. But what we will discuss today, so creative ways to add context to your database, maintaining communication with others, and promoting yourself. So creative ways to add context to your database. I always say these are your cell phone contacts, emails, social media, syncing with Facebook and other outlets, meeting people, and directories. So let me stop sharing that. I'm gonna go to this screen right here. So when you're first compiling your database, right, these are all people that you know already. So where are you gonna get your contacts from? The first thing I always do, and does everybody know what a contact is? What a full contact is? I'm gonna write it for those of you that are shy. But a full contact has first name. If you can see this, can you see it? Yeah, first name, last name, email, phone number, mailing address, and last is a birthday. You don't have to have the exact date, you know, you can have, Facebook tells you a lot of it. You know, Facebook might have the exact date, but you LexisNexis someone, or you go on freepeoplesearch.com, truepeoplesearch.com, sorry, truepeoplesearch.com. Most people will pop up and they'll say, hey, my birthday's January 1981. You know, it won't necessarily say my birthday's January 22nd. So as long as you have like the month, that's all that really matters. You don't even have to have age, really, just the month. Cool. Oh, I don't have a paper towel. Let me use my mask. These things come in handy, right? Just have to wash it afterwards. So that's a full contact, and you want to have a full contact for every one of your contacts. So everybody in your sphere, think about right now where your contacts are. I know I kind of already gave the slide, but who wants to chime in and say where they keep their contacts?
Hey, Dan, I keep mine in Command.
Perfect. Command. And where did you get them to put them in Command?
Oh, where did I get them? Well, I got them from my phone, from emails. So that's where I started with all of that. I do some on LexisNexis to kind of fill in the gaps. Perfect. I go to folks that I know that own homes, but I really don't know their address. I just know how to get there. I just looked on the tax, like Realist Tax, and got their address.
Perfect. Driving around through the MLS. I'm so glad you're in this class, September.
Oh, thanks.
So, and that's great. So what she said was, so she had contacts in her phone, she had emails, and then she thought about who she knew. Who do you know? Driving by the neighborhood, whatever it is, how do you know people? So once you know people, how do you get to fill in that information? So you might have to drive to their house to remember where it was. You can go on the MLS, and if you know the person's a homeowner, like I just bought a home and I've been talking about it in social media, hey, about my house and I'm so happy and whatever, right? If you can search on the MLS and you can type in someone's last name in a county. So look under Los Angeles County and type Stueve under last name. And every Stueve that owns property in Los Angeles County that's on title is going to pop up. And then it shows you where their addresses are. So you can pull it through like that method.
Dan, you can also just go straight to title or to tax realist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's quick.
So pretty quick. But I like, because you're resourceful. So then you get all of your contacts and you put them in your CRM, right? You need to put all that data somewhere. There's a couple other places. Anybody else want to say? So she's got phone, email. Most of you have, so for one is if you have contacts in your phone, you want to check to see where those contacts go. So if you use an iPhone and you go to enter a contact, it's going to show you where the contact goes. Is it in your phone? Is it stored on the iCloud? So make sure that all your contacts, when you're entering them, go to the same place, right? So you want them, so even if you scroll down, like you look at your phone and you go to contacts, right? You're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. You can just hit the little pound thing, right? And you'll scroll all the way down the bottom and it's going to show how many contacts you have. So I have 17,828 contacts in my phone. A lot of realtors, unfortunately. These aren't clients, right? So you want to see that number, whatever it is, in your database. So if you have 100 contacts, 1,000 contacts, you want to make sure that so I sync my contacts with Google, with Gmail. So when I pull up Gmail and you're looking on your screen on Gmail, you can hit the tab over and look at contacts, and all of my, so 17, my contacts in Gmail will show I have 17,800 and something contacts, right? So you want to put all your contacts in one place. So from your phone, that's great. From emails, so when I first started in real estate, I had probably 6 email accounts. I had an AOL email, I had a Yahoo email, I had a Gmail email, I had a whatever email, right? And then you get your KW email and whatever it is. So you want to go to all of those email that you have, and you want to export the contacts, because all of those emails have contacts. And how do you do that? Well, Google it. How do I export my contacts from Yahoo? How do I export my contacts from Gmail? It's going to tell you step by step. You go here, you click this, you go export. It's going to create a CSV file. CSV. CSV, right? So you're going to collect these CSV files. So first you're going to do it from your phone. You're going to do it from your emails, all of your email accounts. So if you have 6 emails and you have your phone, you got 7 CSV files, right? Well, there's also contacts in social media. So before I got into real estate, I really only accepted people that I knew and my friends. Facebook, and I don't remember if Instagram was that old. But for sure Facebook was, right? So that was pretty cool too, because these are people that I know, these are my friends, my family, whatever it is. I might not have their contacts. And so I was able to export that data. So again, Google, how do I export my contacts from Facebook, from Instagram, from LinkedIn, from Twitter, from, I don't know if you can export contacts from TikTok. I have never used it, but any social media outlet that you have, same thing, Google it, and Google's the answer. So we've got phone, we have emails, we have social media. Another one, let me look at my slide over here. Directories. So a lot of you will have maybe a directory. It could be a church directory. Maybe your kids or you are in soccer or something, you're a soccer mom, you're in a neighborhood group, and there's like some sort of directory somewhere. So find that directory. Think about it, what it is for you. Maybe this is your second career like me. I did law for 14 years prior to real estate, and I had a whole database of attorneys, of paralegals, of judges, whatever it is. Even if it's their office contact, you don't have their home address, but you have their office address and you have their phone number. Put it into your database. So that's another thing for church directory. So I grew up going to a small Lutheran church. I think there was maybe like 100 people, maybe 100 people. They used to print out a little directory every year and had everybody's birth date and their phone number and their mailing address. And I haven't been to that church in 20 years. but I know these people. It was a small church. It wasn't one of these mega churches where everybody knew me, knew my family, knew my parents, whatever. So that was more manual entering because it was a printed directory, but shoot, it was contacts. So I just typed all those into my CRM, my command, my, Google contacts or whatever it is. So do that too. And I think there was one more thing on here. Oh, so another thing that I did in building my database was I thought about who throws a party every year or an event. So there's always someone that does an annual 4th of July something, an annual Hanukkah, Christmas, whatever it is, And so, you go to that party every year. It might be in your Evite or your Punch Bowl. It's an invitation that you get all the time. So it could be email. So back in the day, people used to not really be so sensitive about BCCing people in emails. So everybody would get an email and everybody invited to the party would be CC'd instead of BCC, right? Search in your email, whoever that host of that party was. Search for that email, find that email, grab all those emails. Just copy and paste from that CC column and dump them in your database. You know these people. You go to that party every year. You might not know that was their email or that, but you dump them in there. The worst thing they're going to do is unsubscribe from your email list, right? But now you have a list of contacts to start with. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. And we'll share it. Hey, Serena, how's it going over there?
Hi, how are
Thank
you?
for joining in our class.
Of course, always.
One second. All right, so I'm sharing this. Once you have your list for new agents, you can all see this, right? I'm sharing it. Cool. New agents, send out an announcement email about you and your business. So you're going to really do that kind of introductory email. I've just joined, I just joined Keller Williams, Keller Williams and Encino Sherman Oaks. It's we sold $1 billion last year in real estate. I'm excited to be on this team and start my real estate career. Your people that you're reaching out to, it's okay. They know you. They know you just got your real estate license. They know you just graduated from high school, or that you left your job in law, in the legal field, or that you hate your job in law and you're trying to dig your way out of there and never look back at that law firm or go into a courthouse again, and they want to support you. So come to the office, take a photo in front of the office. We're remodeling our lobby here in Encino. We're going to unveil it on Wednesday. Take a big picture in that beautiful tile backdrop with the Keller Williams sign and whatever, and use that in your thing. Please, if you have any real estate needs, give me a call, whatever you want to do. If you're an experienced agent, send out an email to your new sphere. This says it's spring. I guess I did this when it was when it was spring, but it's fall or whatever. So we're entering the last quarter of the year, whatever. It's whatever your message is going to be. But you're basically kind of telling people it's a busy time in real estate. Despite COVID, our office had the biggest month ever in its 13-year history. Despite what you hear on the news, the market in Los Angeles is hot. Give me a call. Maybe it's where you're at with your business this year, what your goals are for the remainder of the year, and asking them to help you reach the goals. So let me share this. So the next thing, does that all make sense? Yeah, pretty easy. So we're gonna share this, cool. Maintaining communication with others. So I say, phone calls, obviously. For me, I'm really I'm not an aggressive salesperson. I'm very passive. So phone calls weren't necessarily something that were easy for me to do. They still aren't. I still don't call my sphere. I probably would have a much bigger business in real estate should I just pick up the phone and make calls, right? There's no magic to it. The more people you touch, the more people you reach out to, the more people you ask for business, you're going to get results. Same thing with me growing the office. The more Palmer's always like, he hears me getting appointments for agents to join our office. And he's like, oh, see, there's magic in those calls, right? And there really isn't magic. It's just picking up the phone and talking to more people. The more people you talk to, the more appointments you're bound to get, right? Share screen here. So text, so I'm good with text, even when I would be at the gym, right? So just like I scroll down on my phone, this isn't really a great system, but it worked for me. It's taking my phone right here and all my little text messages, and I'd scroll down to the very bottom of this list. Who haven't I talked to in a long time? Who haven't I reached out to? Because if you're not using a CRM in a way that the CRM is telling you every day who to call, you have to, reach out to people. Who are you reaching out to? So even scrolling down to the bottom, because once you text a message to someone, whoever you're texting here, that message, that chat group goes all the way back up to the top of this. So if you're scrolling all the way down to your phone, you're going to see the people that you haven't been reaching out to and communicating with. How are you doing with COVID? Are you okay? Are you, can't you wait to get out of this? Are we going to be able to celebrate the holidays together? End of the year is coming around. Whatever the message is, it's reaching out to people and talking to people, right? Let them ask you, how's real estate? Let's go back to screen share. Mailings and cards. We talked about me sending out a postcard. So I just started doing this, but also what I would do is, so I use Facebook a lot, but I don't just post, you might look like it, how fabulous my life is or whatever. How I like to eat out at restaurants all the time and, whatever it is. But I really use it more, I guess, in a calculated way. So even using the birthdays on Facebook, every month before the month, my assistant prints out the group of birthdays. So whoever has a birthday in September, and I go through that Facebook group list and I highlight who are the people that I'm going to send a birthday card to. And then I write a handwritten card to them, happy birthday. And it goes out at the beginning of the month. I'm a little behind right now because, the real estate business in the office has been really, insane. But I would write like a handwritten card to those people. So happy birthday, you just get a pack of cheap cards from Amazon, get 100, 200 cards, whatever it is. And you just write a quick happy birthday, hope you have an amazing day, Dan, love Dan, depending on whoever the person is that you're writing the card to, and you mail them a birthday card. So they're getting something from you on their birthday. So many people respond to that. Oh my God, you remembered my birthday, whatever it is. Nobody mails cards anymore. That's so old school, but I love it, and you're the first birthday card I got because you sent it at the beginning of the month, not like right at their birthday or the day before. Send it at the very beginning of the month. It's the first card they're going to get for their birthday. Social media post. So again, it's not just about you on social media, it's about them. So who are they? What are they doing in their life? Is there anything that they're celebrating? Congratulate them. Whether it's just a comment in the box or you end up sending them a private message. Hey, that's great. That's incredible. Whatever's going on in their life. It's their birthday. So not only do I wish them like a happy birthday, so you might send them a card, you might just, do the happy birthday text or whatever. If you can make it as personable as possible to kind of get a conversation started out of it, that's better than just liking something. If you think about how do I engage with this person, keep the conversation going. That's what you want to think about when you're using social media. And then email blasts. So everybody should have a monthly email blast to go out. I know Command has its limitations right now. I believe that's being fixed shortly. Ask Zach for help. Sarah, our new agent services, she's quickly learning Command. But I send a monthly email blast through MailChimp to my whole sphere. And it takes 1 day to set up the template. If you'd like to see what my template looks like, send me an email, dan@harma.com, and I will forward you my monthly email. We just sent one out the first of the month. It goes out the first of the month, rain or shine, except for New Year's Day. So I'd send it out on the second, New Year's second day of January. But it's very simple. You just set the template up in MailChimp. If everybody really needs my help, I'll maybe do a class on setting up a template with MailChimp. It's really easy. But it's all about you. So whatever's about you, and we're going to talk about it in the next slide, you put in that email blast. But it's just something that goes automatic. It takes minutes to update it, and you just send that out once a month. And at least you're touching your sphere once a month, right? Cool. Tips and tricks. Let's see what this slide says. Any questions so far before I start on these tips and tricks? This is simple. Yeah. Okay.
I have a question, Dan.
Yes, Heidi.
What was that email server you used for the blast, email blast?
It's called MailChimp.
MailChimp?
MailChimp, like a monkey chimp.
Oh, okay, Chimp. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, it's free as long as you fall under like a certain number of contacts. I think if you have less than 2,000 contacts, it's free. Some people use Constant Contact. There's a bunch of different services. They're all integratable with Command. So whichever one that you choose, well, I won't say all, but check, I guess. At least MailChimp and Constant Contact are integratable with Command. So once you set it up and once Command is using that feature to send out stuff, you won't have to reset it up again because it's going to channel through Command the program.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's simple, it's free as long as you stay within a certain number of contacts, and then you can only send out. So if you have 2,000 contacts, you can maybe send like, I think up to 2,000 emails a month or something. So you can only send out like one email if you have 2,000 contacts or whatever, but that's all you need really, right?
Right, great, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. So yeah, so tips and tricks, be yourself. It's how you will allow people to relate to you. Be genuine. So show people who you are in your communication in your social media posts. And examples, show people what you're interested in that may or may not be related to real estate. So show some of your personal style, your pet, your lifestyle, your passions. So that kind of goes back to Paul's question about kind of why people want to work with you. Real estate is a people business. It really is. I mean, if you're going to work your sphere, there's many ways to do real estate. You know, you can be like Eric Delgado and make calls and call expireds. And obviously, I mean, he's #3 Keller Williams agent worldwide consistently. And so that's an incredible business model. That's not my business model. My business model has always been my sphere, right? So when you're working with your sphere, you need to show yourself and remind people why they want to work with you. Remind people that they like you. Remind people that you know that you have their best interest at heart because you're being sincere, you're being yourself, and especially with using social media. My biggest pet peeve is when you see just like real estate posts, real estate everywhere. You know, it's boring. So show your life and don't be afraid. You know, everybody makes like jokes that I post so much about food and eating. You know, I really should be 400 pounds. I eat all the time. Thankfully, I'm not. But but I get more inquiries about, you know, what's a great restaurant to go to? Or they'll see my post. Oh my God, I've heard about that. Even yesterday, I went to Mistral the other day and somebody said, I've been wanting to go to that place forever. How is it? You know? Yes, the conversation is about food or a restaurant, but it's keeping people engaged and interested in you, you know, so they don't find you boring. So they're not like avoiding your call or your message because they're like, oh, that's some, you know, realtor. All he wants is just my business. And I'm not in the market to buy or sell. So, you know, I don't want to just get his sales pitch all the time, you know? So perfect. And let's keep going. Any questions? Cool. The next one, be informative. So be a resource for your followers and your clients. Example, what's going on in your market? Any new developments, local hotspots, maybe it's just design tips. So This is for your social media posts. This is for your email blast. Anything that's related to you as a person, as an agent, the community you service, or just real estate, maybe design related, architectural, styles, financial, the market information, etc. There's a couple resources that I use. So LA Times, you just go to latimes.com, go on the real estate section. Maybe it's the business section, go to realtor.com. If you go to realtor.com, there's always like tips, that they put out there. Maybe go something like El Decor. What's the color cabinets of the season, of the fall season or whatever, so whatever's kind of you and your personality. Curved LA, I think they're getting rid of. I can't remember if it's Curved LA or Eater. One of those two they're getting rid of, but they're morphing it into something else. I think it got bought out by like the New York Times or something. So they're modifying it. But they do like local, so if you're focusing on a farm or a neighborhood, maybe it's the Valley, they'll post stuff about the Valley, what's happening. For me, my farm's always been West Hollywood. That's where I had lived before moving to Valley Glen right now. So there's like an online thing called wehoville.com. It's kind of what's going on in the neighborhood. So if there's one by where you're marketing to, know what that is. Even LA Weekly, which gets, I think, your fingers all messed up, but because of that print. And then have fun. If you're not having fun, they aren't. Like attracts like. So people want to work with you because they like you, they like who you are, they like what your style is. That's just how it is. People are watching what you're doing, even if you don't have a lot of likes. So I used to, especially with social media, I used to get so sad because I'm a high I, high D, high I. Sometimes the D comes out, sometimes the I comes out, but it's a balancing. If you took Harma's disc class, it's a really cool thing. But I used to get really sad when I would post stuff on Instagram and nobody would like it. And I was like, okay, I got like 3 likes, I get 10 likes. I don't have thousands and thousands of followers. I think I have like 2,000 or maybe 3,000 now. And now most of them are realtors, so they're not even clients for me. It's like, all of you guys, but thanks for following, right? But I used to post something and I was like, nobody likes it, like who, it's just so annoying. But then, again, it's not just about posting something on social media. It's not just about, if you're farming and you mail a postcard once a month and that's all you do in your farm, you're never going to get business from it. You're going to get, I guess I shouldn't say never. You'll stumble upon a sale here and there, right? But you're not going to get a strong business. You have to do things more than once. So not only was my sphere getting my email blasts with what my sales and activity and everything were, but they're also following me on social media, and I was engaging with them in social media. So then they saw my business and my career on social media. But then I'd also be in my sphere. So yeah, I'm a gay man. I would go to Gay Pride in West Hollywood. I'd go to Chiconi's. I'd go to the Abbey, whatever my sphere was, right? You're in your sphere. So whatever your sphere is, be in your sphere, even if your sphere is your family. So hang out with your family more, right? But I would go and I would see people I never talked to. I don't have their phone number. I wouldn't call them because I'm passive. I don't call people for business, right? But I'd be at an event and I'd run into people all the time and they'd be like, oh my God, you just sold that $4 million listing or whatever it is. And I was thinking in my head, like, I haven't sold a listing in like 3 months, But people don't really pay attention to that much. They just see like the highlights. I mean, think about the things that you just, scroll on your phone on Instagram and just like, the content kind of resonates, but it doesn't necessarily resonate. So I knew being out physically in my sphere and talking to people that people were watching me, that people were seeing my success. You might be one of those people that doesn't like things on Instagram, but you look at Instagram every day. I'm somebody that likes everything and has to comment, and I want somebody to comment back at me and fill me up with like energy, But most people aren't like that, but they're still watching. So just be mindful of that. There's a couple of things. Let me see what's here. Back to the chat box. This is a great time to call people and wish them a happy Labor Day. Sure. I've heard mixed perspectives about having one social media, personal versus business. Do you recommend using personal social media as a business account? So yeah, I think it's very difficult, and I think this is a slide, but we're running out of time because I talk too much. But you know, personal versus business and social media. To me, I think being yourself is what's important. I have both. It's hard to manage both. Even I have an assistant that helps me. And I'm even looking at my business social media right now, and I don't like it. My business Instagram is at Dan Stueve Properties, if you're following it. My personal is Dan period Stueve, you know, at Dan period Stueve. It's really hard, but as I started building a team and I have people, you know, I'm in the office every day with you guys. So my team has to be out there doing the sales, so I still generate business. You know, I need that Instagram, that at Dan Stueve Properties to resemble a team. But if it was just me, if it was just Dan Stueve doing business and selling, like I wouldn't bother with a business. I mean, I guess I would make my account like a business account, but I wouldn't necessarily have two, if that makes sense or helps answer your question. You want to follow up?
So I noticed that on my personal account, I just created a second one, but on my personal account, when I started to post more about real estate, I was losing my sphere. Like they became disinterested because it wasn't the original topics that I would normally post about. So I've been trying to integrate and have like a hybrid model of both. I realized that as soon as I started advertising, there were people that were very excited, but they weren't necessarily potential clients, and they kind of unfollowed and didn't want to see me anymore because it wasn't why they were originally following me.
What's the question?
So,
Sorry.
I mean, I thought that it would benefit me to have like a personal hybrid of like, you know, be business and this is what I'm doing. But then I started losing attention.
Because you're posting too much about business?
Yeah, it wasn't what it was originally for. So then I created a separate one. But then I've been told that you have to have like a personal side of it. So then it's like there's two.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think even if you scroll down, I never went back. So my original Instagram was at Dan Stueve Properties. Like, I think that's right when like Instagram came out like 7 years ago, or at least when it started becoming popular to take away business from Facebook or MySpace or whatever it was, right? And if you scroll down to my Dan Stueve Properties one, like towards the bottom, you're just going to see my personal stuff. You know, it was at a point when I started, you know, I guess when I got my real estate license, that I then changed the handle. But I didn't really, so I just progressed in it with my life. So it was personal, it was social, it was a little too social, you know, but again, it was my business. So people either liked me or they didn't like me. And I was okay with if you didn't like me. But so there is kind of like an experimentation and balance, you know, I definitely test things out. Post something and see what the reaction, how your sphere reacts to it. So I definitely think there's that aspect of it too. With so many potential clients looking on Zillow, et cetera, what info can I offer from MLS that they can't find on Zillow? What do you mean? Make you take your mic off.
Well, I was talking to someone and they're interested in a condo or residential property, and they always look on the internet. So what can I offer them that I have access to on the MLS that they can't find without my help?
Yeah, so I think, you know, especially with Zillow is my thorn in the side. It's not accurate. The information's delayed. I get people reaching out to me all the time. Oh, I saw this on Zillow or Redfin and whatever, and it's not even, it's horrible. So part of it is educating your people. Oh, that Zillow is not the MLS, it's old information, which generally it is. You know, what are you looking for? So I can set up a search on the MLS and get, the moment it hits the MLS, before it's even going to go on Zillow, I'm going to be able to have that information and I'll be able to send it to you. It's
Okay,
like
so I can get it sooner
Yeah.
than they don't have to wait for Zillow.
Zillow's updated late. You know, a lot of times, and they'll see this. I mean, they're going to experience it whether they listen to you or not. They're going to go on Zillow or Redfin. They're going to find a property, and then they're going to tell you, hey, they're going to send you this Zillow or Redfin property, and my eye rolls every time.
Right.
And then then there's more work for me. I got to now go on the MLS and search for it to get the agent's contact information. And then I'll say it's active under contract. And so that's also part of it. This market is so hot right now that you can't be going off of day old information, because we have, I mean, we're having properties with 60 offers on it that are going 300,000 over the asking price. So if you're waiting around and looking at a format like Zillow or Redfin that is not accurate and up to date, that has a delay, Keller Williams, we do a delay. So you'll notice if you get a listing and you put your listing up on the MLS, it's not going to be cycled over into like Zillow for like 24 hours.
Okay.
And we do that to keep our data, our information, because Zillow is not our friend.
Okay. Thank you. That's very helpful.
They're going to ban me, like they're not even going to put my listings on Zillow or whatever. I wish the boards would do something to help us out, but we got to do what we got, right? Work with what we got. I think Serena put something in here. So let's go back to the slides because we're almost out of time, but I think I've gotten through a lot of it. Okay, more tips and tricks. Be creative if you're not there yet. So what that means is post if you haven't had any sales. Several of you guys are new, and that's fine. You know, especially when you're working with your sphere, don't be scared. You know, they're your friends, they're your family. And even if they're, you know, a crappy family, you know, we all have those relatives that, you know, are those friends that you don't really know if they're really your friend or not, but who cares? You know, if they use you, great, you make some money. If they don't, they'll use someone else or they won't use anyone, and you'll just focus on the people that will. But what's going on in our office? We have 340 agents. Like I said, we haven't really announced it, but we're the second largest individual brokerage in all of Los Angeles County. That we're the #1 office in the San Fernando Valley. Whatever it is, August, we just had our biggest month ever. You know, we did 1.3 billion in sales last year. We get 4 to 8 new listings every single day. You know, so whatever it is. Right now, we're not doing Caravan, but you know, you go on Caravan, post what you see. You go to open houses, you know, you're posting about you being a real estate professional. You're out there learning the market, understanding the market, whatever it is. Even being on this class right now, you know, you're honing your skills, whatever it is. Post what you like, what gets you excited. So if you love closets, if you love pools, views, you know, you love white picket fences, whatever in houses and properties that you go and look at and see, post that. You know, kind of like the same thing with me and my restaurants all the time. People start noticing the habits. Back when I used to go to the gym, when gyms were open, you know, I'd go to the gym at 5:30 in the morning and everybody'd be like, oh my God, how do you do it? You're up so early at the gym and whatever. It starts becoming a theme. Like I even had people sign up for Equinox because they kept seeing me to go to the gym in the morning. And then I got $200 for them signing up from Equinox. I never asked them to join Equinox, but they were like influenced by my social media that they went and joined Equinox, and they said I was the reason why they joined. So then I got like $200. We already talked about this, but don't be all about sales or yourself. You know, ask for business, but don't be too overly obvious. They know you're a real estate agent. Your profile should say you're a real estate agent, should have your DRE number, you know? So you don't have to be all about who's looking to buy, invest, and sell in real estate. Call me, you know, the message is there. Your friends are your lifeline. So never underestimate your friendships and how they can bring you business. Your friends are your biggest promoters and supporters. Your self-promotion will give your friends the tools they need to advocate on your behalf. And that really is powerful. If you do not show your friends and family what you do, that you sell the Valley, the West Side, Palm Springs, you do leases, you do commercial, whatever it is. Our office does commercial. None of you guys here do commercial, right? But we have a huge commercial division. But your sphere might be landholders, might be business owners, they might, whatever it is. And so the fact that you're delivering that message that we have, you know, we have the #1 KW commercial agent in the world in our office, that's your business partner. All of you guys are my business partners. So that's how you market it. But you're showing your sphere what you do, they now can advocate for you. Oh, she just sold that property. You know, oh, she's with this huge office. She's got this great team. You have to use her. Whatever, that's the message that your friends and your family are delivering on your behalf. And if you don't deliver that message to them and give them those resources, then they're not speaking about you, right? That was a huge part of my business. And we're coming to the end, I think. My little disclaimer. So you have to be educated and knowledgeable before you can promote yourself. So, you know, all of you being on this class, I applaud you. A lot of you I see all the time, so you're doing a great job. For me, it wasn't just about learning real estate. It was about building that confidence in myself to be able to talk about real estate to people. So follow proven formats. You know, there's so many great scripts, methods. Take other classes, know what you're talking about. Education will make you more comfortable in your own shoes. And then any questions? I think there's something in the box. This was such a cool class.
Dan?
Yes, Walter J.
Well, I'd like to make a little comment because I want to say thank you, especially for your last, you know, going to all the classes, the Zooms. I mean, I'm so grateful that Keller Williams offers this to us, and I, whenever possible, you know, as you see, almost every day at 11 o'clock, if there's a Zoom, I'm on it, and just sit back and listening. And I had a little social gathering last night. A couple of friends came over to Lorenzo's, sit out by the pool, and we started talking about real estate, and they started asking really in-depth questions. And just like I just started spewing out all this stuff like I've been in real estate for 35 years. And it's all because of all the knowledge that I've gained just by sitting and listening to every little Zoom meeting that I go to. And I mean, and these guys were like ready, like they're getting rid of their realtor. They're going to use me. They're going to refer me because they just thought I just seemed so knowledgeable. They love the fact that I have such all the Keller Williams people behind me. Like if I don't know something, I can make 2 phone calls and boom, it's handled because of all the people like Keller Williams. So I strongly advise anytime you can get on one of these Zoom meetings, just sit back and just listen. Your brain absorbs it and you can spit it out when it's necessary. So thank you.
Thank you, Walter. I appreciate that. Good job. Any questions? No. All right. Well, I appreciate all of you being on. Thank you so much. I will have, what's Friday? So Monday, I will have the staff send out the slides to you in our daily happenings email so you can keep them. And great job, everyone. And have a wonderful Labor Day and stay cool.
Thanks, Dan.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.